Hello and welcome to Cinnabar Collectibles, and today we're going to be looking at the absolutely brutal Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX deck. If you've been watching the North American International Championship like I have, you may have noticed this deck cropping up quite a bit. Now, Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX is a brand new card that's come out in Destined Rivals, and it's all themed around Team Rocket. So let's get straight into the video and have a look at how you might make this deck. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more deck building videos. So first of all, we need 2 copies of Mewtwo EX with the ability Power Saver, which means you have to have 4 Team Rocket's Pokemon on your bench. And he also has the attack Eraser Ball, which does 160 damage plus 60 damage for each energy you discard off of your bench Pokemon. Luckily, we're going to pair this up with Spidops, so there will be absolutely no problem with having that energy on your bench Pokemon that you can discard. That will mean that Mewtwo EX is now doing 280 damage, knocking out other Mewtwo EXs. Also, Raging Bolt EX, you're knocking out a lot of EX Pokemon, which is what makes this Pokemon so deadly. Then you'll need 4 copies of Tarantula. Now, unfortunately, I've only been able to get 3 from pack so far, so I'm just missing 1, but we'll need the Team Rocket's Tarantula. Then you'll need 4 copies of Spidops, and it's that charging up ability which is so useful. It says that once during your turn, you may attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon, which means that Mewtwo can discard it away so he can do extra damage. And then the next turn, you can just charge Spidops right back up again by putting the energy from your discard pile right back onto him. So when you've got 4 of these going, you're able to discard 2 energies and then get them straight back the next turn. Then we have Team Rocket's Mimikyu, which means you get to choose one of your opponent's active Terra Pokemon's attacks, and they can't use that attack next turn, which makes this so useful. It stops Dragapults being able to spread damage around, and it stops other Terra EXs in their tracks. Then we've got Team Rocket's Murkrow with the Deceit attack, which lets you search for a supporter, reveal it and put it into your hand, which is really, really useful. Helps you set up if you've gone second. That means you can get a supporter that you need to help you out in your next turn. And that Torment attack is very, very annoying, because it means that when you've attacked, you do 30 damage, but then your opponent's active Pokemon, you get to choose one of their attacks, and they can't use that one next turn. Again, hampering them. If they've got a Budew, you can then stop it from being able to do Itchy Pollen. And then we have Team Rocket's Zapdos, which is really useful because you can be a bit of a pain to your opponent. You can use Jamming Wing to make the energy come off their active Pokemon and put it onto one of their bench Pokemon. Or you could do Wicked Thunder, which does 60 plus 60 more damage if you've got a Team Rocket energy on it. And Team Rocket energy acts as 2 energy to other Team Rocket's Pokemon, which means that this would do 120 damage. Then you'll also be running 1 copy of Team Rocket's Articuno with its Repelling Veil, which means that you get to prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to your basic Team Rocket's Pokemon, which is really useful. It stops Dragapult being able to snipe your Pokemon off the bench, and it's very, very vital in this deck to keep your Tarantulas alive so you can evolve them into your Spidops. Now, controversially, I always put a Fezandipity EX in my Team Rocket Mewtwo decks, so I can use Flip the Script. So if one of my Pokemon gets knocked out by my opponent's attack, I get to flip the script and draw 3 cards. However, this will hamper one of our supporters, as we'll see right now. We'll be running 2 copies of Team Rocket's Haryana, which means you get to draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If all of your Pokemon in play are Team Rocket's Pokemon, you get to draw cards so you have 8 cards in your hand instead, which is really, really useful. However, if you've got that Fez, you'll only be able to draw up to 5. So hopefully, you can think about when you want to play Fez, keep it in your hand for as long as you can, so you can use your Arianas to get 8 cards instead, and then put him down. We'll be running 2 copies of Iono, so we can disrupt our opponent's hand. We'll also be running 2 copies of Team Rocket's Giovanni, so we can switch our active Team Rocket's Pokemon with one of our bench Team Rocket's Pokemon. And if we do, we then get to choose one of our opponent's bench Pokemon and switch that to the active spot. It's like Boss's Orders, but it also allows us to have the ability to change our active Pokemon as well. So we can, maybe we've been trapped into a Spidops, or maybe we've been trapped into our Articuno or our Fez. We can then swap it out straight into our Mewtwo and start doing some damage. You'll also want to be running 2 copies of Team Rocket's Proton. If you go first, you may use this card during your first turn. You get to search your deck for up to 3 basic Team Rocket's Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So it means straight away you can get your Zapdos, your Articuno, your Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX, and your Tarantulas. You'll want to run 1 copy of Team Rocket's Archer. You can use this card if any of your Team Rocket's Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck, then you draw 5 cards and your opponent gets 3. It does remind me of Marnie from Sword and Shield. So really useful, again, hand disruption, and you're reducing your opponent's hand size, which is always very, very useful. You'll also want to be running 4 copies of Buddy Buddy Poffin, so you can get into your tarantulas. We're also going to be running 4 copies of Ultra Ball, so we can discard 2 cards from hand, and then we can choose a Pokemon from our deck and put it straight into our hand. I've only got 3 copies of these, but I just need 1 more. You need 4 copies of Team Rocket's Transceiver. Now what Team Rocket's Transceiver does is you get to search your deck for a supporter card that has a Team Rocket's name, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck, which is fantastic. So then you get into Giovanni. You could, if it's your first turn, you can use this to get straight to a Proton, so you can get 3 basic Pokemon. We also want to be running 2 copies of Earthen Vessel, so we can discard a card from hand and take 2 energies from our deck and put them into our hand. We also want to run 2 copies of Night Stretcher, so we can take either a basic energy or a Pokemon out of our discard pile and into our hand. So if our Mewtwo's get knocked out, we can then scoop them back up. Same with our Spidops or our very vital Articuno. If he gets knocked out, we can use Night Stretcher to take that straight out of our discard pile, put him back onto the bench so we can protect our bench Pokemon from Dragapults. You want to be using 2 copies of Counter Catcher, another way that we can gust up one of our opponent's Pokemon into the active, but only if we're behind on prizes. Our ace spec of choice will be Secret Box, which means we can discard 3 cards from our hand, but then we get to search for an item card, a tool card, and a supporter, and a stadium, reveal them, put them into our hand, and then shuffle our deck, which is really, really useful. Then we can get all the tools we want to get this deck really cooking and to get really moving so we can take charge. We're also going to be using Defiance Band, because that 30 extra damage on our Mewtwo would mean that we're then doing 310 damage. We're knocking out almost every EX there is. We're just a little bit short on Dragapult, just a little bit short on Charizard EX as well, but every other Pokemon is getting knocked out. We'll be running 1 copy of Counter Gain, which means if we're behind on prizes, our attacks cost 1 less energy. And that would mean that our Mewtwo is then only needing 2 energies to attack. We'll also be running 1 copy of Bravery Charm to give our Mewtwo's an extra 50 HP. Then we'll need 3 copies of Team Rocket's Factory. Once during each player's turn, if you played a supporter with the name Team Rocket in it, you then get to draw 2 cards. So another great way of being able to draw. Then we'll need 6 Grass Energy to help our deck. And we'll also want to be running 4 copies of Team Rocket's Energy. Now, as long as it's attached to a Team Rocket's Pokemon, it provides Psychic and Darkness Energy. 1 copy of the Team Rocket's Energy would mean that Mewtwo has both of the Psychic Energy that it needs, and then all you need is a Grass Energy on him to be able to do his attack. That is the Team Rocket's EX deck. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I can't wait to see how he's been getting on in the North American regionals. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment and subscribe, and let us know down below if you're going to be using Team Rocket's Mewtwo. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Good night.